Judas, not the Iscariot, says, "Master, then what happened that you will reveal yourself to us and not to the world?" And Jesus answered, "Whoever loves me will keep my word." What? Doesn't sound like the proper answer to me, and yet he's getting at the fact that he will only go to those who will receive him, those who love him. We will come to him and make our dwelling with him, those who keep my word. As I was pondering over this morning, what does this mean to love God? Whoever has my commandments and observes them is the one who loves me. As much as we like to think, our good feelings towards God is love, it's really a choice of the will. Love is a choice of the will within our human range to choose the good of the other as other. I choose your good, not because of what you can do for me, not for how you can serve me, but I choose to love you and will your good. In fact, I choose your desires more than my desires. I choose your needs more than my wants. That is love. Now, when it comes to Almighty God, he's saying, this choice to follow my commandments, that is the sign, that is the choice of loving me. This is important because a lot of times we can go in and out of our feelings of love towards God, or feeling that we love him, or that we're loved by him, that we're worthy of him, and all this stuff. In fact, this is a normal part of the Christian life, where we go from consolation to desolation to consolation to desolation. We go back and forth so easily and so often, and it is not only because of our sin, although our sin sometimes does drive us down into desolation, but even in times when we are in good standing with Almighty God, when we have not sinned, we sometimes go into that desolation. In reading a book about this consolation, desolation, the author was speaking about this woman who had been on this retreat, and she had this incredibly powerful and intimate experience of God on the first few days of the retreat, and then on the fourth day, everything went dry. And it wasn't because of some sort of sin or some sort of lack of prayer or anything, just that's the way our lives go. We're up and we're down. Why? At least in this world. Why? Because God is saying, I need you to be strengthened in your choice to follow me. Do you follow me because it's easy, because it's sweet, because it's delightful? Or do you follow me because you love me? And he says, I want to strengthen you in your choice to follow me. And so in those moments when it's difficult, in those moments when we feel empty, in those moments when we feel so dry in our spiritual life, as if God is so far away from us, it's in those moments when we still make the choice to pray, the choice to do God's will, the choice to say no to our own selves and saying, I'm doing this for you, God. That's when we're showing God the most love. Not when everything is sweet and wonderful and good. When we look at the saints, they go through these terrible times of aridness and dryness and darkness. And God uses that to purify their desires. And he uses it in us as well. He's saying, will you desire the giver more than the gift? And so he's saying to us, he's saying to me, will you reach out in love? Will you choose to love me now, here, in this moment? Now, that all being said, for those times when we've failed, for those times when we've not loved God, for those times when we've chosen our own selfish desires over God, God doesn't say, I want you to beat yourself up over this. God says, I want you in this moment, then, to choose to love me. I want you in this moment to say, I will do your will. I will follow your commandments. I will observe what you have asked me to do. Just as a note, found out that this Thursday, the 14th, which happens to be the feast day of Saint Corona, right? Pope Francis has asked that we use it as a day of prayer, of sacrifice, of good works, a prayer of fasting and of acts of charity and love for an end to the coronavirus. So I invite you to take this opportunity this Thursday in some form to make it a special day of prayer, fasting, of good works for the glory of God.